Hey traders, TG Watkins here. Let's see, I was recording this April 13th and wanted to let you know that we're hosting an options room open house over at simplertrading.com between April 18th and 20th. Those of you who sign up for free access for the options room will get to come in there for a few days, get a sneak peek of what's going on in the room, see what we're all about. And if you've ever been wanting to check out Simpler Trading, this is the time to do it. So come on over here, use this this bit.ly link in order to get in there for free and register. And it'll be great to see everybody over there between April 18th and the 20th. All right, so other than that, we will be coming over here to the SPY and figured I'd show you kind of the list of what I'm going to be going through. We'll see if I can get through all of them. If not, this will be the order that I go through them. All right, as far as the SPY, I got to say, today was a very, very strong up day. And there was some news. I'm going to get to this with FXI, but there was some media news about China military leader Xi saying, hey, we should get our practice to be more realistic. Basically something like our military needs to get ready to go. So if you guys want to go find that article and something like that, that seems to be part of what helped really pull the market down yesterday. You can look at FXI and you can see it was a pretty big down day too. And I think it was based on that news, kind of like saber rattling type news. Some people say it was CPI, but we actually had the market up yesterday on CPI. It opened up nicely and then got kind of faded all day. Today we had PPI, which came out actually negative. And so the market seems to really, really liked that negative inflation read for the PPI. And I think that in a way there's a trickle-down effect, because if the producers, manufacturers, if their inflation starts going down, well, then they can hopefully pass those savings along and those prices to consumers, and then hopefully the CPI would start coming down too. So the fact that we were starting to see inflation actually go negative, I think that's what the market responded to today. So that's what that appears like. And then as far as the Moxie indicator, and I got to say, I love it. I was talking about this for the week leading up into CPI. The market was moving up a bit, but what I was noticing and pointing out to Moxie subscribers and people over on Facebook and YouTube is that the 15-minute Moxie indicators were not looking that great. So what we could see is that one of them was still below zero. They were spread from each other, and what that means is they're not super strong. So I was like, we might be getting some shake, rattle, and roll coming into CPI and during CPI, which was the case. That's exactly what we got. Plus that Xi news over from China, and we got a dip. But then when we started to move back up, look what happened to the Moxie indicator. We got some divergence, and the Moxie indicator got much tighter. This looks like one line. This is stronger stuff. This is actually now looking better. So it's amazing to see this is exactly how the Moxie indicator works. And while this was saying, hey, be careful, we're still going to probably have some turbulence in here, this is now saying, hey, we should actually be good and stronger. Now, leading up to all of that, we've been talking about how the SPY was overbought. We could see this in a few different ways, that overbought, and looking for a slight pullback or a flag. Well, we got that last week into this week. And, figured it was going to keep going, but wasn't sure exactly how that was going to look. I didn't know if price was going to maybe drop down to, say, the 30 ATR and then move up. But basically, I knew that any kind of drop or dip below the hourly 50 was likely to move back up because the Moxie indicator was very high. You can see this on the hourly chart. This is how far the Moxie indicator was still above zero, and there was no negative divergence. You might be looking at this, like if you guys are new to what I'm talking about and seeing this stuff, you might be looking at this, be like, well, that's negative divergence. No, this is resting. Price was going sideways. This is just momentum burning off. Okay, there was no divergence. We didn't see price higher and the Moxie indicator lower. We didn't see that yet. And so now we have a green bar, which means that the next level of momentum is going to keep going until we see it run out again. So basically this means that for everything I'm looking at, we've now resumed the trend back to the upside because we have flagged into the hourly 50. Apparently all it needed was the daily 8, and got some news out of the way, and market's back up, and here we are at new highs for the last few days. So this is good. The trend continues. The other thing that we can see that's helping to point this out is if you look at the UVXY, it got a little touchy yesterday. We could see that price was starting to poke its head over the 15-minute 50, and the Moxie indicator was looking pretty good. So I also told the subscribers, I said, hey, we could see a little bit of a move up, also because there was a bit of a distance between price and the hourly 50. I said, we could see a bit of a pop in the UVXY. which is the same as the dip that I was expecting in the SPY. And we basically got that. It was tiny. I was prepared for it to go a little bit further, maybe up near or to the hourly 50, just in case, but it didn't want to do that. And we can see that basically things are back on track because price continued to stay below the 15-minute 50 and everything's trending. Everything's trending in this direction. So that's great for the market. As I said, I was prepared to have price move up a little bit, but even if it did, that would have been price running into the underside of a downtrending hourly 50 with the Moxie indicator below zero. Would have been the same thing. So yeah, pretty easy. One day is all it took as a dip. Now, if we look over here at the let me come over here. I like this view a little bit better for this one. If you look at the IWM, I've been talking about this one too and saying, I know it looks really bad. I know it looks pretty rough, but you know what? It's got a history that when it gets really, really oversold, it starts chopping its way sideways before kind of moving up a little bit. Now, the only question is going to be the daily 50. What is price going to do with that? Is it going to run up into it and we're going to roll over? Or is it going to actually be able to get through it the way that it's kind of gotten through it before? So that we're going to just have to wait and see how that looks. But if we look at the hourly chart, I've also been calling there's a trampoline move right there. And then what I've been looking for is basically, are we going to get another trampoline move or is price going to hold the hourly 50? And today, yesterday into today, it exactly held the hourly 50 with the Moxie indicator still strong and looking good. And you can see here on the daily chart, the 8 and 21 moving averages are starting to narrow and to get to a point where they could cross over each other, just like we saw here. So for now, I'm still cautiously bullish, and as far as the market goes, these things look like they want to keep moving up. How far? We just don't know that yet, but for now they look like they want to keep moving to the upside. Now if we look at FXI, this one's kind of been a little bit all over the place. Let's see, yesterday again I was kind of looking for a potential, this was coming out of a trampoline move, price below the 50, Moxie indicator above zero. I was looking price to hold the 21 and get over the daily 50, but it just couldn't do it. It looked like it was just right about there. It looked like it was about to go. But then that news came out with Xi Jinping and, right there just pulled the market down. That was that big news. Now, it's recovered since then. So I find it very interesting that news comes out, really yanks the market down, but then it's right back up. So I don't really have too much to say about that yet. This is still basically chopping around a little bit, and it's not clear that it's really ready to go yet. Based on what I'm seeing, I am still leaning towards the upside. I do think that this was all a pullback, and I think we're trying to base here before going higher, but it's not confirmed yet. We're still kind of looking around at it, and it could continue to fail to the downside. So I'm just basically neutral on this with a slight bullish lean to it. Another one, if we look at GFAI, now there are a few stocks. Let me actually come back over here. And if you look at some of the AI type stocks, literally AI as the ticker symbol, we are starting to see some pretty hot action in some of these names. So I've got a list of some other names that I've been trading in this area, in this region. But let me show you the Moxie rules that are working pretty well. Number one, look at price pulling right back to the hourly 50. Number two, look at price holding the 15-minute 50. And the Moxie indicator has been above zero on all of this really, really well. You got a slight dip here, but that was really just the 15-minute time frame just going sideways, so momentum kind of tends to blend off a little bit. But again, look how strong, look at that. One solid line, it looks like one line on the 15-minute Moxie indicator, and that means strength. So that was a huge move. It doubled. It doubled, more than doubled in 2 days. So yeah, there's some crazy moves out there. Not easy to find, not totally everywhere, but there are some pockets of strength, and when they follow the rules, they do them quite nicely. All right, so PACB, Pacific Bio, this is another name. I put this out as one of our weekly watch list names to Simpler Trading. So again, if you guys sign up for this open house situation, you can kind of see what we're up to, because it was my turn for last week to do the weekly watch list, and so this is one of the names that I put out there, and if you had this, you would have been able to see that. So what we look at is, here is price below the hourly 50, the Moxie indicator is above zero, here's your level, here's the Moxie indicator moving up, and it popped. Now the reason I look at this and say this is because here you can see price below the 50 but the Moxie indicator above zero. That's a trampoline move. That was kind of the situation that I was prepared for the SPY to do. The SPY basically was flagging very much just right into the hourly 50, right into hourly 50. But if it wanted to take a little bit more of a dip below the hourly 50 and then move up, I'd be okay with that, because that would have been a trampoline move. And that's the reason that I'm okay with it, is because of situations like this, that they work. It's a trampoline move. So wanted to show you that one as well. So a couple things to note about this one. So again, here's price below the daily 50. Notice the Moxie indicator is still above 0. That's a trampoline move. And here you go. Here's another one. Here's price below the 50, Moxie indicator above 0. That's a trampoline move. And the reason I call it a trampoline move is because it's just like one. If you were on a trampoline move and you jump onto the trampoline move, it shoots you up like that. If you jump into the trampoline, it shoots you up like that. So that's where I just kind of came up with the name, and seems to work and have stuck. And then if we look here, notice there's your Moxie price trigger. And you can see the price is holding the hourly 50 very, very nicely. Now, it did have a bit of an up move, but it got a little overbought, right? You know, it got a little bit of a gap in through here. So now we have the 50 crossed over the 200. That's good. That's bullish. And we have price just barely dipping below the hourly 50, still an uptrending hourly 50, and the Moxie indicator is above 0. Yet again, another trampoline move. So do you guys see how this here, with price below the hourly 50, the Moxie indicator above 0, is the same situation as PACB, Pacific Bio, on its hourly chart? And do you see how it's the same situation here on the daily time frame? So these, between the Moxie indicator and trampoline move setups and all that kind of stuff, this is the kind of stuff that I look at and that I really like. And that's how I do the trading with the Moxie indicator. All right, then if we come over here, we take a look at Mara. And this has been a great mover. I mean, this thing has been just awesome for us. We actually added when it started to pop up like this, so that's been fun. And what we can see in through here, look at this. Another trampoline move, price below the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0. Heck, you could even say that there was a little one right there. But as price started to prove itself, you can see there was another trampoline move there, price below the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0. What we did is we started to get in here, and we got in here. So those were our 2 entries. And why did I add more and this thing work? Well, look, there's a double bottom right there, and that was another trampoline move. Price below the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0, and it also held the daily 21 and then just shot up. So great solid moves like this. Amazingly, crypto and crypto miners and things related to crypto are they're taking off and they're working. So careful about chasing them, but it looks like there's a pretty good area in through here, and there's some volume coming into them. Now, if we look at FNGU, this is a leveraged ETF of basically the FANG stocks. So it's got an assortment in them, but these are some of the things that I wanted to show to you guys. Is if we look at this and we look at the higher time frames, they really look like they've been basing and are ready to move up. You have price over the monthly 10, you have the 8 over the 21, and you have price trying to get past the weekly 50. Now, it doesn't mean that they have to keep going up and up and up. They can flag for a while. If you look at PACB, it's been very sideways in through here. But this is definitely what I'm looking at and saying, hey, I think that there's something here. And then as far as the Moxie indicator stuff goes, check this out. Yet again, another trampoline move. Price below the 50, but the Moxie indicator above 0. That thing shot you up. You could see price down, Moxie indicator up. There's your price trigger. And then another little dip. That is a trampoline move, and now we're up. So that I'm kind of looking at this, and I know in through here we had the Moxie price trigger to the downside. I don't want to short it. That a lot of times in an uptrend, that just means don't go long right now. So I'm waiting to see what happens, but I have a feeling it might be sitting somewhere here on the daily 21, and this could end up just flagging. And if it's going to go higher, great. But if it's going to come in here, break down, and then break down more, we should see that coming too. So we'll have to just kind of keep an eye on it. Right now it's neutral, and I would be waiting for another clean buy signal of some sort like that. All right, everyone, thanks again, and we'll see you at the next one.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.